Hi, this is Michelle Girasole with The Fresh Rebellion. I'm so happy to be with you today. This is really a rebellion for me. Every day is a battle in my kitchen to combat the not-so-healthy habits of my family. Is anyone out there also fighting that battle? Yeah, I'm with you, my friend. So this series speaks to the moms and the dads out there who are trying to give their kids the best nutrition for the best health. It's a very fresh topic, so I'm glad you're here with me today. We're going to start by talking about school lunches. It is that time of year again. Back to school, goodbye to the lazy days of summer, and getting back into a routine. So why not make it healthy from the start? And by the way, you don't want your kid to be that weird kid. You know the one I'm talking about, the one who has dried seaweed for a snack, or the one who's hiding his kombucha bottle from his friends. No way, mine would throw that stuff away. I may as well throw my money right down the toilet. So I'm going to give you some great tips and products that you can use. But before I do, let me tell you about a great movement that I've become aware of called the Million Moms Movement. This is a calling for me. I really love this movement. Amy Venner-Handy from Purium Health Products uses the hashtag Million Moms Movement on social media, so go check that out. Amy got really frustrated with artificial everything in our food, artificial dyes, artificial flavoring, artificial sweeteners. Everything's artificial. The fillers, the genetically modified ingredients, synthetic ingredients, nasty. We don't want that in our food. So Amy's idea is for 1,000 women leaders in 100 communities who want to help 10 families eat cleaner and get greener. And that adds up to 1 million people who want to take back their kitchens and their dinner tables. And she is a true fresh rebel, and I want to be one of her million moms, and I hope that you'll join me. Amy's given us permission to make healthy cool again, right? So thank you for that, Amy. I'll have more information on that in the comments below this podcast and on my freshrebellion.com website. So definitely go check that out. Let's get right to it. Let's get to those school lunches before the school bus comes to our driveway. I want to give you 5 top tips that I have found very helpful in getting school lunches ready for my kids. Jessie's 15. She's going to be a sophomore in high school this year. I can't believe it. She's going to start driving this year. And she just rolls out of bed and gets right on the bus. She has no appetite in the morning. So her lunch is really important to get protein in there, to get hydration. She'll snack mid-morning. Nick is better about breakfast, but I still want him to have the best lunch. He's 13 right now. He's in middle school. So there are 5 things that I like to put in the kids' lunches, and I can change it up, but as long as I have those things that I know that they'll be having nutrition during the day that gets them through till the end of the day. The first one is protein. So it can be so boring to have the same sandwich every day in your lunch. And the goal of the protein is to help them to not feel hungry again, and to balance that sugar rush if they're having something sweet, and avoid that crash at the end of the day. So let me tell you a few ideas. It doesn't have to be the peanut butter and jelly. You can put a container of hummus that has great protein from the beans, and chips. Or you could have deli meat rolls with cheese in them, and that is a great roll up. That's something that's fun for them to eat. You could do cheese and crackers. My girlfriend growing up always had cheese and crackers. I was always jealous because she'd make these cool stackers, and it was just kind of fun and interactive. So definitely change up the vehicle if you're serving deli meat, turkey, ham, roast beef, and by vehicle I mean different breads. Use rolls, and then the next day maybe a wrap, and then the next day maybe just plain bread. So if you change up the delivery of the protein, that'll make it interesting, and the kids won't feel bored by their sandwich all the time. The second one is crunchy. We love to crunch stuff, and so that snack can be a healthy snack or a Dorito. I'll tell you what, Doritos are the biggest enemy in my household. My kids love them. My husband buys them. But there was that one time that I happened to pick up the New York Times and read the article, The Extraordinary Science of Junk Food, and there on the cover was one single Dorito chip. harmless, right? It's just a Dorito. It's just a chip. I had 100 of them myself. But I learned how they were manufactured and how they want to make you eat more and they trigger you to overeat. So I just decided not a snack I want my kids eating, but they love that crunch. So I do my best to give them better options. I happen to love the Kettle Chips brand. It's a potato chip that's a non-GMO brand. And if you're not sure what GMO means, it's genetically modified organism. And that, without getting into the science of it, food manufacturers use glyphosate to help the plants grow in more abundance so that they can feed more people. And that seemingly is a good idea. However, the glyphosate has been learned to cause cancer. And so we do not want that on our food. And I remember my mom saying, there's pesticides and herbicides on the fruit. We've got to wash the fruit really well. And we think we can just wash it off. But in the end, we can't. The toxins are in the food themselves. And so they've been tested in 75% of all food on the shelves. So again, without getting into the heavy burden, we want to avoid those. If we can buy non-GMO certified and organic food as much as we can, we're in better shape. Kettle brand chips makes all different flavors of chips, and my kids really like those. Or I'll give them tortilla chips with a container of salsa, guacamole. They love to dip, and celery and peanut butter, or cucumber chips with salt and a little rice vinegar. Those are crunchy things that they really like to just pick up and eat, and those tend to go. They don't come back in the lunchbox, which is good. We were talking about protein and giving the kids a power boost. I really like the Purium MVP Kids Multivitamin and Power Shake. Purium also has some drops that you can add to the water to help the kids focus or to give them an immune boost to combat those back to school germs we know they're going to get. They sit in the classroom and they've been healthy all summer, and then they come back and they start coughing up. So those are the In Focus and Immunity Shield are great. You can just add it to the smoothie and then they go off to school more powerful. Nicholas loves my Crazy Monkey smoothie. I make it with milk, the MVP protein, a banana, and some peanut butter powder. I don't use that Nestle Quick. I used to throw chocolate powder in or strawberry powder into the smoothie, but that has a lot of sugar in it. So we want to avoid that again so that their blood sugar doesn't spike. And we want to really avoid those gummy vitamins, and they have synthetics in them and dyes. We want to give them the best nutrition. We want to avoid those. We think we're doing something good for them, and it's really not. So this MVP Kids has the multivitamins and the protein right in one glass. And I don't promote that. I just say, hey, you want a Crazy Monkey smoothie? And he's like, yeah, I'll have one. It's great. If he's not too hungry in the morning, he'll guzzle that down, and I feel good about sending him off to school. And if he doesn't drink it, I drink it. It's like dessert in the morning. I'll finish that cup. Okay, let's go back to our tips. Sweet. We want to put something sweet in the lunch for the kids. Kids love sweet, so I try not to throw in a candy bar, although I do cave around Halloween time because the kids get so much candy and they're so joyful at that time of year about having candy. I'll put a couple of small bars in their lunch, but most of the year I throw in a clementine or an apple cut up with some caramel dipper because again they like to dip, or maybe an applesauce. One of the things I really love is granola. You don't think of granola as something sweet. We tend to think of it as adult food over yogurt, but there's a really great granola that I love called Sacred Cow Granola, the Holy Granola Experience, and is really a locally made, sweet, crunchy granola that's full of nutrients. So that's something that you might be able to find at a farmer's market and just throw in a little baggie of that, and it's something they can pick on and enjoy, maybe even when they're in the classroom. Sometimes I'll throw in a cookie, especially a homemade cookie, but usually not candy because that really does spike their blood sugar and crashes them before the last period. So I think we're on to our last tip. The beverage, right? We want to give them something to hydrate. And so many times if I go into the kids' school, I'll see kids drinking Gatorade or soda or strawberry milk. One thing that I learned, and another resource to Google, is Jamie Oliver's TED Talk. And that was shocking to me when I saw that by the end of elementary school, if kids drink strawberry milk every day, they'll have had a wheelbarrow full of sugar when we think we're giving the kids milk and it's loading up with sugar. That is really causing some health problems in this country. So I only give the kids water. They are just used to getting water. They're thirsty and with water they hydrate and they're not guzzling that sugar. And they can refill their water bottle throughout the day if they get thirsty and they keep drinking. So my kids get water and I recommend that you do that too. So we've got protein, a crunchy snack, a sweet snack, and beverages. And that's a great lunch for them. Now, I want to tell you a story because I love stories. And this one is about the day I stopped making lunches for my kids every morning. I know, this whole thing is about how to make a lunch, and now I'm saying, what? I'm not going to make lunches? Well, listen, there's so many reasons for parents to use a school lunch program or buy Lunchables or prepackaged food because it's so convenient. It takes a lot of time. It's a commitment to make fresh lunches all the time. You've got to go out and get the ingredients, portion out the snacks if you're not buying them pre-portioned, getting up early to make sandwiches, packing the snacks. It does take a lot of time. I normally get up a half an hour early just to make lunches. But it's so important to make sure that the quality of what they're eating is healthy, that was a sacrifice I was making. I admit it, I didn't really stop making their lunches, but I did change the way I produced them, I guess. I did the packaging a night or 2 nights before. Sometimes I'll make 2 to 3 days worth of sandwiches at a time, and leave them in a container in the fridge. And I'll cut up all the veggies and portion them out. And so there'll be 5 things of carrots and 5 things of celery and 5 things of cucumber. And the kids can go in the morning and make their own lunch. I'll put them out on the counter, their bag and their water bottle, and they do the work of filling up the school lunchbox. And that saved me so much time so that I can actually go and get a workout in the morning. I love to walk or do yoga, go to the gym, and the kids are old enough now, mine are teenagers, that they can take that on. So I give you permission to not make their school lunches. Just plan a little bit. And the kids like that control. They like to know what's in their lunch. They don't want to open it and say, I really don't feel like eating that today. So I find it's a lot less waste too. So pre-package it, leave it out on the counter, put your shoes on and go for a walk and move. So because your health is important too. And so now I want to tell you about the next episode in the series. What we've been talking about today is school lunch tips, and I've mentioned organic a couple of times. A lot of people worry about the expense of organic. Just this week, my friend Jen posted on Facebook that she's trying the Whole30 diet, and her grocery bill went up to $400 for the week, and she has a family of 5. It went up by about $200, she said, just trying to eat healthy. So it's a real concern. And in our next podcast, I'm going to be talking about eating organic on a budget, sharing ideas from our community on how to maintain a reasonable budget while you're eating better quality food that brings vibrant health to you and to your family. So if you like this show, please subscribe and share it with a friend. Go ahead and join the Fresh Rebellion. We're so glad you're here.